Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. It's been a little bit longer than I realized since I've did one of these, and I mean I've kind of been like going, I really want to do one today, but then I got all this other stuff I have to do, and I've just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Not that I've not done anything in relation to it. I've changed my setup a little bit for audio recordings, and my voice will probably sound different, hopefully better, but I'm actually having some issues with my somewhere in my equipment chain there is an issue, and I haven't been able to figure out what it is, so you might hear some intermittent, I don't know, pops and like crackles and staticky sounds. Hopefully not a lot of them, and hopefully they won't even be audible, but they might, so if you do, I truly apologize for that. I just haven't been able to figure out what it is to fix it. But I'm working on that. Now, the other thing I just wanted to say is that I got a great message today from someone, Seekestor92. I just want to read this message out because I feel it made me feel terrible. So I'm gonna read it out. It said, "Sad that you quitted. Come on, man. You and Stonebreak Kid are my favorite casters. Do one 30-min replay a month just to do a good deed. One day your eyes will close and you will die. So do a good deed." It's so morbid. It's like you're gonna die, but that's what it took, I guess, to get me to realize it's been so long. So I'm doing another one, whatever it takes. Anyway, so this game. So thank you, Seekestor92. Thank you for that wonderful message. So we don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's get into this game. We do have Inquisitive HawK. This map is what is this map? Hold on. Right, this map is Nomad Isles 1.2. I almost forgot that for just a second. Actually, we should go ahead and pause. Why don't we? Because I did let that run a little longer than I meant to. We are at 2 minutes in the game. We have Inquisitive HawK. This is for ZOTAC. This is the first game. I don't know what round it was or anything, but I know there's other games in the series, so it was either like the semifinals or the quarterfinals, something like that. It's either the best of 3 or best of 5. I don't know, but I'm only doing this one today because, well, I just am, but it's a good game, I've been told, so we're going to watch it, and it's on Nomad Isles. Now, Nomad Isles is one of the maps that I usually like to show you guys a little bit of stuff. I don't really know anything about this map at all. It's one of the new maps that ZOTAC is kind of having. They have like a new map pool now, and I'm going to put in the description what the new map pool is in case you're wondering. It's got some... I don't personally fully agree with some of the maps in there, and you can read about that in the description. I'll put like a mini analysis of that, or at least what I think about it. But this is the map, as you can see. It's got some very interesting creeps. It looks like a very tough map to creep, and it's got some kind of cool islands back here. It is Nomad Isle 1.2, so you might know it. I've personally never seen it before, but I was kind of it's one of the maps I'm excited about seeing in the map pool just because it's new. I like new maps. New maps are good maps. Usually, right? Usually. So you've got a nice little overview of the map, and now we're just going to go ahead and go right back into it. Because, why not? So here we can see Inquisitive HawK coming on out. He is spawning in as the teal light, the teal human in the upper right part of the map. He's got an Archmage out. Looks like he wants to go ahead and militia creep this mercenary camp. Just kill this. Looks like a fairly easy creep. We'll pick up a Forest Troll Shadow Priest. We do see HLA, who's spawning in the lower left as well. Lower right-ish. Lower, yeah, it's lower right. I don't know why I said left. They're both on the right side of the map, basically. I think this is a 3-player map, so there is one other spawn right here on the mini-map at the, like, upper right. But, yeah, they're both on left. So we're going to go ahead and see HLA will pick off that Shadow Priest that was picked up as a mercenary by Inquisitive HawK right there, and that's going to get him a bit of experience. As you can see, he's already up to 82, up to 170 XP, doing a good job stealing units here. He did have that ghoul. Did it get out? Looks like it did, and he's using skeletons as well as coils, bringing him down to 120 mana, and he looks like he wants to go probably try to pick off one of these peasants. Does he realize that this is only just started? He has enough time to pick one off? Maybe, maybe not. Oh, will he turn around? Oh, looks like that Arcane Tower actually scared him. Though he could have gotten one of those peasants very easily if he was just paying a slightly bit more attention. But that's okay. Down here you can see the ghoul is running away. HLA clearly going with a ghoul build. As you can see, just now beginning his tech. He is not trying to build a graveyard yet. He'll do that a little bit later. Will he be going for a Garg build or a Fiend build into Destral build? What is he going to do? He's got lots of options, and we're just going to have to wait to see. Things very well could have changed. I haven't done a lot of watching of games recently. recently because I've been, again, fairly busy. But so I'm kind of out on the meta game right now, the scene. What's going on with the strategies? I'm kind of curious to see. It might have changed, and it probably has at least a little bit. So I not done my job. That's true, if you want to put it that way. I haven't really, I can't really tell you, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen, but I can say that we will just keep watching, and we'll find out together, and that'll be great. So we're going to see one footman going to go down, maybe? Yes, he will, giving level 2 to that Death Knight. He did take a little bit more hits than he wanted to there, because I think he slightly miscalculated how much damage that footman would take before he died, considering he was at a sliver of life. Right there at the very end. Over here we can see these ghouls are kind of running around. We will see HLA coming over to the mercenary camp, and who's going to do anything there? It looks like we're going to see HawK picking up the Forest Troll Shadow Priest. He did already have that Forest Troll Berserker that he already bought. The Death Knight's taking quite a bit of damage now. He's under half life, sitting at 305 HP out of 725. Over here we can see the ghouls that have been kind of, I guess, using the Death Knight sort of as a mini distraction. The ghouls did want to come back in here. They could do a lot of damage, mainly because the Arcane Tower doesn't really do much damage at all to these guys. As you can see right here, it's mainly the feedback that makes this thing scary. Otherwise, it's just 8 to 10 damage. You can see it hitting that ghoul doesn't really hurt it. Over here, we can see that Mr. HawK is creeping out this gold mine. He wants to probably take an expansion, but does he want to do it early on? Yes, he does, because he is still sitting at Town Hall. We're going to see that Arcane Tower going down. That is the one bad thing about building it in a fairly aggressive position. If you end up against ghouls, it's very easy to take down. It just doesn't do much damage at all. But that Archmage is level 3. That means we will see level 2 water elementals coming in right now. As you can see, there one is. Very strong against ghouls. So HLA can't really fight this, but he might be able to try to pick off a unit or two before he runs away. And it looks like he will take down that Forest Troll Berserker and try to get out of there. Of course, he wants to be very careful not to lose any of these ghouls. Will he lose that one too? Maybe, maybe not. It looks like it's going to get away with just 4 HP. Very nice. Down here we can see that HLA is once again, he's just rushing that upgrade. He does look like he's wanting to do maybe a 9-minute Destro push, which could be pretty effective against this build because he's delayed this expansion for so very long. I mean, you can see that Inquisitive HawK still sitting on tier 1, doesn't even have a lumber mill down, so he's going to have to really rush to get all these towers up. Should he even try to be building this town hall? Probably not, really. If he is facing the Destro push, because it does sit at 9 minutes, that's going to be in, well, right now it is 6 minutes on the dot, so that gives him 3 minutes to finish everything over here. And 3 minutes to prepare an adequate defense, and that's going to be really hard, especially with this kind of constant harass. But the only other thing I will say is that with HLA doing as much harass with these ghouls as he has, he probably can't hit the 9-minute Destro push just because he probably won't have enough wood. We'll have to wait and see, because yeah, he's sitting at 61, 81 wood. He can't even get his second slaughterhouse up just yet, and he still has to get the Lich, although he doesn't have to get a Lich if he's doing a 9-minute Destro push. I don't think you do even get the Lich traditionally. Yeah, that's true. So I guess Inquisitive HawK is probably doing a pretty good read here, saying, you know, you've used your ghouls this much, they aren't getting wood all that time, and you're probably not going to be able to do a very strong 9-minute push. And in fact, HLA may kind of have realized that, and he's starting to build some Fiends as well to try to do some additional help in that. Which is interesting. It's very interesting, because if he hadn't used those ghouls as much, he would have a lot more wood, and he is getting the Lich. So maybe he's not even trying to go for that 9-minute Destro push, but then again, I still feel like it would be really effective because he only has one Arcane Tower here. I mean, he could easily take down that expansion, I feel. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen here. I still think he's going to try to go for some Destros. It's just not going to be as Destro heavy. And I guess it's out of necessity, truly, because he doesn't have a ton of wood. But he does have enough wood, I guess, to make, you know, to make do. He's had those guys down there mining for a bit. So we'll see. Over here we can see that Inquisitive HawK wants to come in here for the harass. This is a very traditional way to play the game when you're playing against anyone who's going for an early Destro, fast Destro kind of play. It's generally you want to try to cancel one of the slaughterhouses. That's really good. And if you don't, that's really bad. So that's one of those things. Even though HLA doesn't have as much wood as he may like, and I keep talking about his wood. He's actually getting quite a bit. I guess I underestimated how much wood how many ghouls he has. He does have a lot more ghouls than I thought. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the time. It is about to hit 8 minutes in the game, 7:58. So he's got a minute to get the research for the destroyer, and then to hit if he wants to hit that classic timing. I don't know if we're going to see that happening, but it doesn't look like that's really what he wants to play at either way. HawK certainly he knows it's coming, and he's really not even trying to invest in defense here. So it's kind of interesting to see what's happening. But here's the Gold Frenzy, there's the destroyer form, and I mean he's actually supply blocked, so he's just going to go ahead and finish that ziggurat at a pretty decent time. And he has the ability now to start making more units if he chooses. probably will put down another Ziggurat fairly soon. Generally with this, you'll see him going ahead and getting that extra Ziggurat because you kind of want to go up to 60 supply when you do for your push. But we might not see that either. I don't know. Definitely going for the Destroyer push, though. Absolutely no doubt whatsoever about that. And like I said, I was totally wrong. Those ghouls, he's got plenty of ghouls. I thought he had less ghouls than that. My bad. Anyway, so he's going to pick up the Orb of Corruption. That's going to allow him to pretty much dominate all of these fights right now, especially once those Destroyers come out. Because the main issue, the only thing that's really going to save HawK at all is these Water Elementals, and with the Destroyers, those Water Elementals are going to do absolutely nothing but die and feed experience to HLA. So we're going to see that HLA easily taking map control right now. In fact, he's researching Disease Cloud right now, so that means he very easily could be going for like an Abomination switch, which wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. I am surprised that he's not going for a more aggressive play right now. He is creeping, because again, if he knew how many towers are up here, actually, he's forced some towers. He doesn't have enough Destroyers right there to, I think, to deal with that. He needs a couple more. Oh, it's not going to be Abominations. It's going to be Meat Wagons. Oh, right. I know what this is. I know what this is. This is the this is that Destroyer wagon pushy thing that people have done. I've seen it done a couple of times. I haven't seen it done very many times. But it was something that we started to see just a little bit of about a month and a half ago. It's about a month and a half ago, so maybe I wonder if it's become the dominant strategy. And it's definitely not exactly the same as what I've seen before, but it definitely is kind of that same composition, which is interesting. But anyway, let's just watch this right here. As you can see, level 2 being picked up by the Lich. Now, HLA did creep out a gold mine, so he can take an expansion if he wants to during the siege. And since he's got this wonderful Destroyer pushed army, this Ghoul Frenzy Ghouls, and he's going for the Archmage right now, going to force a pop. I think that was a healing scroll. It might have been a potion. I couldn't quite tell in time. But he did force an item to heal that Archmage up a little bit, and we're going to see HLA. He's going to have a hard time dealing with all these towers right here, because again, he only has one Destroyer. If he had like 5 Destroyers, he could easily take out all those towers, no problem. But since he only has one, it's going to be slightly harder for him. He does have a Meat Wagon coming in. Unfortunately, due to the map design here, and this is kind of clever, and the way that HawK's built his base, you can't really run that wagon up this way. He's going to have to run it all the way around here before it can start to doing kind of attacks. And of course, HLA wants to be in this position because he's between the base, the main base, and the expansion, rather than down here, because that's that whole idea of stopping the reinforcements. Of course, we're seeing HawK saying, screw that, I'm not even going to defend. You know, he's like, I know you only have one Destroyer, and, you know, he's like, you can't have that many Meat Wagons, because I was just at your base, I saw what you had. You just didn't have a lot of Meat Wagons, you were upgrading Destroyer form, you were getting statues out, and you had one Destroyer, so he's like, I'm fairly safe at my expansion, and I'm just going to come ahead and come harass your base. And that's going to work out pretty well. We're going to go ahead and see HLA is going to be pretty smart. He started upgrading that Spirit Tower fairly early on, pretty much as soon as he realized that HawK was coming down here. And maybe when he saw him with the Meat Wagon, I don't know, sometime around that, but it's just now finishing. Barely a little bit late than it could have been a little bit better, but that's okay. It's still going to do a lot of damage, going to help him force out these footmen, and he's only going to lose, I think, 2 Acolytes so far. Might lose a couple of Ghouls in here, but again, he doesn't really need the wood as badly right now. He can always remake those Ghouls. They already have Ghoul Frenzy, so they're going to be fairly good at getting wood, even if there's only a very low count of them. Down here, we will see that HLA is going to bring down just his army, leaving a Meat Wagon and an Obsidian statue up here. These guys might die. Unfortunately, the statue will probably get away, but not really a lot of chances for that Meat Wagon. He's actually going to morph that statue into a Destroyer, go ahead and get a little bit of experience for taking out that Water Elemental, and now he can just kind of run away. He could be attacking the Archmage or something with that. Maybe he's going to go for the deny on this? Maybe? No, not going to get it. That's okay. Down here you can see that the economy just going to be just fine for HLA, and he did force a TP. He didn't have to use one himself, but he is, of course, 1 mine against 2. Slightly an issue, and HawK has been able to get a lot of tech up. He's getting very close to castle. He's doing double Arcane Sanctum. Looks like he's probably going to do some kind of breaker play. Breaker play is pretty good. Of course, the one thing I will say that, you know, it's unfortunate for HawK that he's already got the Disease Clown out, because if you do go for a breaker play, Abominations are a pretty good strong counter to that, as well as Frenzy Ghouls, so HLA is not really in a bad position to deal with breaker play, so I would be kind of surprised to see like heavy breakers, but they are pretty mobile army in terms of like what the human army usually can be. I mean, air armies would be slightly more mobile, well, a lot more mobile, I guess, than a breaker army, but other than that, and what a great scout timing by Inquisitive HawK right here. I don't even know, I guess he... Oh, right, because he researched, as soon as the Magic Sentry got researched, he had the ability to, with his Arcane Tower right here, cast Reveal on this for free on a cooldown. So pretty much as soon as HLA's expansion went up, that got scouted. So really, really good play by HawK. HawK's just doing a great job. And HawK, however, is kind of low on experience right now. As you can see, now that Mountain King's getting fairly low, but he does have a Potion of Healing. Going to go ahead and use that. We'll see a Wand of Mana Stealing, just stealing about 50 mana from that Mountain King. And here we can see that statue. Just unfortunately for him, running slightly too close to this little expansion, as well as that Fiend. He's going to lose a lot of life on that statue, which is not great, but, you know, it is what it is. Over here we can see that Mountain King has been staffed on back to the human's castle to go ahead and heal up, and we will see probably a Paladin. Yeah, a Paladin coming out for the human player as well. Pretty much classic tri-hero, classic tri-hero for the human, which is, you know, reasonable. Over here we can see HawK. He's trying to do some damage right now. He wants to try to take out this expansion, cancel it, do something there, but he just doesn't really have the army to force that to die. He might be able to kill that Acolyte. Looks like he will, because it's not going to get coiled, and he will be forced to TP. So unfortunately for him, probably not really worth it, and since he's running this breaker this way instead of into that teleport, he's probably going to lose that as well. Maybe not. It's a pretty fast unit, but I can't tell. I guess we're just going to have to watch and see. Looks like that breaker's actually probably going to live, especially if he gets staffed, because he could get staffed. Yeah, he's going to get staffed. Nice play, really nice play by HawK, though. Kind of expensive play, but again, he can be slightly inefficient with his money, simply because he's had that second gold mine much longer than HLA, and because HLA is expanding. And when you're expanding, you're always dumping money into the expansion, which is money that you won't have in your army, so you can, you know, your opponent can play a little bit worse there, as long as they already have an expansion. Of course, that does mean that in the late game, or at least the longer the game goes, that it means HawK has to get a second expansion up in order, you know, to come out ahead at the end, or he has to play much more cost efficient throughout the rest of the game. But right now, I would say really HLA has played way more cost efficient. HLA is in the lead in terms of that, and since he's got that second expansion up, I would say he's probably even in the lead in the game once this gets about to 9,000 gold. At that point, he's going to really have been. The expansion will have paid for itself. You know, he'll be on double income, and as long as he doesn't do anything crazy, he'll be fine. But he is in upkeep, so it's low upkeep, but it's still upkeep. And actually, HawK's in upkeep as well. So yeah, everyone's going into upkeep. Upkeep's not really what you want to be, but you kind of gotta go to upkeep if your opponent's in upkeep. You know, you just kind of have to fight, and you're doing lots of fighting and lots of aggression. Then you just don't have a choice. Now, HLA is still sitting on double hero, 2 heroes. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up a third hero, maybe a silencer, or not silencer, a Dark Ranger who has silence. That would be really good against this Paladin, this classic combo. It's really, really good. Could go with the Dreadlord as well, because he has sleep, but either way, somehow you have to get some kind of way to disable that Paladin or to kill the Paladin without letting him use his Divine Shield, which is Dark Ranger's maybe a little bit better at that. But we'll see. Now we can see HawK, he's bringing in some militia. Not a whole lot of militia, but he's just bringing in some militia. Just, you know, he's saying, I want to fight him. I know he's down there. And, you know, I'm just, you know, if I have my militia there, it's going to help me a little bit. It's 5 militia. And down here we can see he's getting a nice, good mix here of flying machines and spellbreakers. Works out pretty well, because those flying machines are going to do a ton of damage. They're just going to rip through the destroyers. And, of course, the ground army is really hard to kill. And, you know, of course, those spellbreakers are completely immune to the destroyer. So I mean, HLA's done a really good job. We're gonna see that Paladin actually going down, and something got staffed. I don't know what it was. It looked like he was trying to staff that Paladin though, and that's unfortunate for him because it did die. I'm gonna see that. He's taking some hits, but he will get coiled, and he's still taking some hits again. He's getting fairly low once again. Will he get? Oh man, he passed the. He didn't pass anything. I think he wanted to pass that potion of invulnerability over to the list. He might have accidentally used it. I don't know, because he didn't have any mana for a coil, so there wasn't really a good reason to cast the potion of invulnerability on the Death Knight. So he probably meant to pass that and just clicked on accident. So maybe misclicks all around. It's very possible. And we're going to see one of those fiends going down and HLA losing the fight. He will run away. Of course, we do have 2 towers here, a slow tower, Nubian tower, and a spirit tower for the undead's base defense, his expansion defense. And now we're going to see Inquisitive HawK just keep on going. And what did he do? He staffed, it looks like, I think he staffed a breaker, or the flying machine earlier on when he was trying to staff that Paladin. Of course, he staffed it after the Paladin had died, so it wouldn't have made a huge difference. I think just maybe nerves getting to him. This was late in ZOTAC. Maybe not even nerves. Maybe they were just getting tired, because you know when you have to play through the first 4 rounds, first 5 rounds, something like that, you can get kind of tired. It's a long event. It really is. But there you go. Now we can see the Paladin is back into the army. He is level 1, so he's pretty much the target that you want to go to. You don't want to let him level up, because once he gets to level 3, it's really hard to stop him. So you want to kill him. Of course, we're going to have to see HLA finding a way to deal with this composition, this Flying Machine Breaker composition, and it looks like he's transitioning into Fiends to try to deal with that. Now, Fiends and Abominations, yeah, there it is, Fiends, Abominations, and of course he's got the Ghouls out here as well, because these guys are Frenzy Ghouls. All of these units do pretty well against Spellbreakers. And if this fight is taken by HawK right here in these tower ranges, he's going to be in serious trouble. Of course, we're going to see HawK adding in some casters at this point, particularly Spellbreaker, or not Spellbreaker, Sorceresses. Sorceresses, because slow is really, really good if you don't have destroyers. Now, he should probably morph that into a destroyer and try to coil it, but he just didn't have the time or something. I don't know, because all those flying machines were pretty much dying, and he needs to deal with this slow. As you can see, it kind of really cripples your units. Trying to go for the nukes on the Mountain King. He did get a heal. He does also have a potion of healing, so he's not in any bad spot. We're going to see that Death Knight taking a lot of damage right now. Going to be forced right on out of the fight. He's going to try to stay on the edges of the fight, maybe to pop in with a coil on that Paladin. Will he be able to get it? It looks like that Paladin's going to get staffed out before he can. And he still has to try to win this fight nonetheless, because this is a fight for his expansion almost. But also we can see a siege engine up there doing some damage, trying to take down the towers at the expansion. So HLA is going to be really careful now, because he knows that basically even if he wins this fight, he's in trouble up here with that siege tank, mainly because of that, and that's what HawK wants to do. He wants to be able to just take long fights, and that's what he can do with Spellbreaker caster type of army compositions, as well as a level 5 Archmage with these level 3 water elementals just ripping through things. And this is looking really, really badly for HLA. We're going to see him trying to go ahead and repair the Spirit Tower, trying to kill this tank. Will he be able to do so? Potentially. He has lost a Fiend, however, and here we can go ahead and see that siege tank does go down. A Spellbreaker is going down as well. The Death Knight is trying to be really careful here, running in the back. Of course, the Lich is just kind of running all of this stuff right behind these towers, and trying to do as much damage as he can. He's going to try to maybe focus down the Archmage and force a TP. That would be really good for him. Does he have the mana to coil it down? He does have the Coil Nova, and he will take the Archmage right on out. Very nicely done by HLA. Slightly mistimed by HawK slightly, and they're going to go ahead and see, and 2 Abominations are back out, as well as a Fiend. The Lich is level 5 now. He did use a potion of lesser invulnerability just to go ahead and make sure he doesn't die to any kind of crazy Mountain King focus, and the human army actually has to back out. And here we can see him at the tavern reviving that Archmage. Now that is a very inefficient move to do cost-wise, and we're going to see that HawK's actually running low on gold now. You can see 300 gold mine left in his main gold mine, and just under 2,000. So he's sitting at 1,700 gold left in this gold mine. So he's sitting at about 2,000 gold left. And here we can see HawK with about 430 there in his main gold mine, and 7,000 in his expansion. So if HawK can defend this expansion, he's not in a bad spot. But of course, we're going to see. I'm saying HawK. If HLA can defend this expansion, he's going to be decently well off. But HawK's up here trying to creep out another expansion for him to take. Like I said, he's going to have to take another one. And this is where he wants to take it with a lot of great experience. Oof, I'm getting hiccups. With a lot of great experience coming his way if he can. Picking up a red Drake Egg, wonderful item right there. Really, really good, but not that great against Fiends, to be completely honest. Because it's an air unit, it gets webbed, gets focused down fairly easily, feeds a little bit of expansion, or XP and all that. Not too great. I'm actually going to see that Bronze Drake killing one of the Sorceresses here, because it is... There's not really a lot that can attack it from the ground except for that Archmage, and he was sitting back to give lots of experience to the Paladin, which is now level 2, and we're going to see him summoning that Red Drake Egg. He knows that, you know, he might as well just use it to creep, because it's not going to be that wonderful against a Fiend-based army. We actually see, looks like 2 Griffin Aviaries coming in, HawK transitioning out of that ground army that he was once in to deal with the Destroyer Fiend type of army, and now adding in the Griffin Riders is going to work on getting Stormhammers as well, which is going to make them really good against Fiends. And here we can see that HawK knows he doesn't want to take this fight just yet. He wants to back out. And also, we're going to see that there's only 1 attack upgrade on these Abominations, but there's none on the Fiends whatsoever, no upgrades whatsoever in sight on the range. That's kind of a clever play by HLA, because he saw those Spellbreakers, and he thought, you know, my ghouls and my Abominations are going to do the majority of my DPS against those things, so that's what I'm going to upgrade, and that's what he's done. But of course, that kind of plays in as well to the kind of play that we're seeing from HawK right here, getting into that transition to air, which is going to be really, really effective against ghouls and Abominations, not so effective against Fiends. It is effective, but it's not as effective, and so if these guys were upgraded, it would be better. But just some really cool strategy going on in this game right here. Of course, as you can see, you're going to see a coil going on to the Paladin. He's going to get Divine Lighted, and in fact, he's going to dodge that. And of course, we're going to see a Holy Light onto these Fiends. He wants to take out the Fiends as fast as he can, so he can't kill these Griffin Griffin Riders, because those Fiends are pretty much what's going to cause those guys to die. First, we're going to see a pretty good coil on that Abomination. Unfortunately, it's not going to get saved, taking a lot of damage there, bashes as well. And we're going to see, what's he going to focus on? It looks like he's just trying to keep on his units alive, and HawK's going to get TPing out of here. Will he be able to take down that Red Drake? Yes, he will, getting the experience for that, but he won't be able to take down that Water until that was so very close to dying right there, as well as that Spellbreaker. So, not bad for HawK really to get out of there like that. But HawK hasn't gone for this expansion, and as you can see, he's got like 140 gold left in that. We did see some, yeah, here are a bunch of Acolytes at this gold mine. Will he go for this gold mine or not? I don't know, but he is running one of these Acolytes over here just to kind of find out a little bit of scouting information, perhaps, maybe some more, something else. I don't know what he's doing, but he's just finding out some information, what's going on over there. And here we can see that HLA sitting out without a TP. He doesn't have a TP, so he's going to have to run over to one of these shops. Well, where is the shop? Here's a shop. That's his closest point of getting a TP, I think. Maybe down here? Down here as well. Just creeping out. He is level 5 on both of those heroes, so he doesn't really need to kill creeps except for items and gold, which is reasonable. You know, it's reasonable enough. And in fact, it looks like he's getting himself into a good position. Oh, there's the Dark Ranger. I've been wondering to see if that was going to happen. Here we get a great silence off on all 3 of the human heroes. And in fact, he's going to go straight for some units, but that's being the focus target as well. Will he lose that to any kind of nukes? Will he get a coil off on it? No, he's going to see a coil onto the Crypt Fiend and a Holy Light onto the Mountain King. We're going to see the Mountain King taking a lot of damage. He's got to get staffed out. He does get staffed out at 70 HP. Here comes the Militia as well. The Militia not doing going to be doing a whole lot, but because they're going to be up against Abominations, but since those Abominations are low on HP and they're being attacked by Griffin damage, who are 2 upgraded for magic damage, doing a lot of damage as well themselves. That's going to work. We're going to see level 3 on the Paladin being picked up. The Paladin's taking a lot of damage. He is nuked down very, very low. The staff is on cooldown, and he is silenced, so he can't pump his Divine Shield. Will he get coiled? Oh, he goes down, casting a Holy Light. Could not cast that Divine Shield at the same time. He wasn't sure which unit to go for, which unit was being casted the coil on. Could have maybe cast Divine Shield and the Holy Light. Both of those heroes going to go down. The Archmage and the Paladin. The human player is out of gold. As you can see, he's long distance mining from up this gold mine right there. He's just not going to have enough gold, and HLA says an expansion up. So as you can see, with 5,000 gold left in that gold mine, he's in a really good spot as long as he doesn't lose any more of his heroes, and that's probably not going to happen. And HawK, like you can see, just completely starved out here, and he can't even afford to buy back any of those heroes. The Mountain King at level 4 is all that he has. He could sell this Sentry Ward if he wants to, but that's the last thing he can do. And he's just going to have to keep long distance gold mining until he can afford to start summoning heroes back from the altar, because he's never going to be able to get enough money really to realistically to start taverning something back. That's like 700 gold or something like that. It's very inefficient to do that, and HLA has just been playing more efficient the whole game through. Absolutely, more the whole game through. And here we can see that Paladin coming back out through here. Maybe he's just going to try to you know, revive the Paladin through the altar, and then, you know, hopefully by the time this gets to about done, we'll have enough gold to tavern back the Archmage. I mean, I don't know what else he's going to do, but we can pretty much guarantee that HLA is going to try to kill this Altar of Kings, because he knows if he kills this, that is just a huge blow to HawK, and there's not really a lot that HawK can do to stop that. And we're just going to see HLA. He does have a Death and Decay on the Lich. Oh man, he's just going to go ahead and take all of this down very quickly. It takes about 30 seconds to kill these buildings, and the Mountain King's all the way over here, so there's no way he can come back in time and actually stop this. So he's just going to lose this Altar, going to lose this Arcane Tank, going to lose the castle. Everything's going to die pretty quickly. Death and Decay, very powerful. And of course, it hits everything, so he wants to make sure he's not having any friendly units into Death and Decay. But down goes the castle. Down goes so much, that's so much tech down, which means no more Griffin Riders are going to come out because he doesn't have a castle anymore. The most he can do, or the best he can do right there, is make Dragon and HawK Riders, and all of these peasants are in a lot of trouble, and these are his lifeline right now. Without that, he doesn't have any more gold coming in. As you can see, he's managed to get up about 700 gold, not quite exactly 700, but he's going to lose every one of these peasants. Going to feed experience. Going to see probably a higher level Dark Ranger after all this. I mean, again, that's so much experience. Maybe not quite level 3. We'll have to wait and see. But that is, yeah, that's a lot of experience right there. And he's dark arrowing these things, so he is getting skeletons from them, and he can go ahead and use those to pick up more additional damage to these buildings. I don't know, like more, you know, he could dark ritual them or something. That's what I was thinking, so more mana. And I was like, but he can use them to attack buildings too. So you can do all kinds of cool little stuff here. And yeah, every one of those is going to die. He did manage to get a little bit more gold from that, and he did manage to tavern back the Paladin, and he's just going to keep on trying to creep up a little bit here. But all of those have now died. And then we can see that Fiend once again kind of being a little bit sloppy there. Apparently HLA is sitting at 51 supply. There we go. He's down to 50. He was just he mismanaged his food upkeep there just a little bit. And over here we can see that he's got a Fiend just kind of whacking away at that workshop. And yeah, so there we go. And he's trying to find the human army. He knows that it's fairly low on life. It does have a nice item, but this army is not going to do anything against this army right here. It's just not going to do anything. In fact, here we can see that Quill coming in. He's probably even going to have to pop that Mana Stone maybe to cast the Divine Shield. Oh, going to get a silence off. There's no way you can cast a Divine Shield at that point. And there's no staff. And there's nothing he can do. HawK's just going to get picked apart as he runs away. He's going to try to kill this Obsidian statue before he goes down, and GG's and gets turned into a Destro, and GG is called. Well played. Wonderful game right there. HLA versus HawK. That's game 1. With any luck, we'll see game 2 uploaded tomorrow for the series, and then maybe game 3 for the next day, etc., etc. However many games there are, I don't know. There could be 5. Actually, I'll put in the description below whether this is a finals. No, actually, I don't think I will. I don't think I will. No, yeah, I will. I should. So if you're curious, I'll put it down at the bottom of the description. So if you don't want to know, you don't have to read it, but if you do want to know, it's at the bottom of the description. That's the game. Let me make sure I go through these slowly enough. Let's see, overview, units tab, heroes tab, resources tab. Once again, thanks to Castor for being the kick in the nuts that I needed to make another video. I can't believe I just said that. Thankfully, no one watches this part of the very end of the video. Everyone turns it off before it gets to this point, so that's good. Jeez Louise. Okay, that's the game, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.